Hey everyone, I'm sorry I'm late. I had some personal issues dealing with. Um, Wanted to continue our study on herbs and wanted to start off talking about earthly treasures. So, hello everyone. Hello if you can make it. I think I'm expecting Alex in Uganda, and that might be it today. I think I've lost a few members. I don't know why. We probably won't have anyone joining us from Kenya today. Uh, let's get started. Let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about earthly treasures. Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moss and rust can't destroy, and thieves don't break in and steal. Whatever your treasure is, there's the desires of your heart will also be. One way God tests you, and that's each and every one of us, is with money. If He can trust you with the material possessions, or can't if He can trust you with material possessions, then He can trust you with the true riches of heaven. The several things God's tests you through. Your money. Money shows what you love most. If you really want to know what's important to you, look at your calendar and your credit card statement. How you spend your time and money shows what you love most. Don't store up treasures here on earth because you can't take them with you. Store your treasures in heaven. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. Hi, son in Uganda. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm speaking a little bit about heavenly treasures and godly treasures and treasures on earth. Put your money wherever you want your heart to be, and you will become interested in whatever you invest in. Money shows what you trust most. Do you trust in your money for security, or do you trust in it for God? Do you trust in your own happiness, or do you trust God for your own happiness? Do you trust in money to make you feel good, or do you trust in God to make you feel good about yourself? Money is the acid test of faith. The Bible says, "Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf." Money shows if God can trust you. Money doesn't just show if you trust God, it also shows if God can trust you. If you are faithful in little things, you'll be faithful in large things. But if you are dishonest in little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. And if you're untrustworthy about wealth, who will trust you when the true riches of with the true riches of heaven? How you handle money affects how much God blesses your life. Now that you understand the direct connection between money management and God's blessing, ask God to get your finances in order so that He can trust you with true riches. If you're struggling, ask God to help you. If you're struggling, ask God to bless you. Let's get back with the herbs. We had sort of left off talking about mint yesterday, and I have a lot to do today with this study. So um, let's get back. There's many types of mint. Just regular mint tea is awesome. Let me show you my tea strainer. I call him the little man. He hangs on my cup like so, and you put the tea in this thing, and then you just soak your cup. Let it soak in your cup, and you have your homemade teas or teas to drink throughout the day and year. So there's regular mint, there's peppermint, there's spearmint, and don't take peppermint or spearmint to be mint. There is a difference. There's chocolate mint, it has a chocolatey taste. There's fish mint, bee balm, lemon balm. They're all in the mint family. Uh, it says oregano. uh, Cuban oregano, but it's in the mint family. There's just so many types of mint, and mints are invasive. They keep coming back year after year. You get one plant, and in a couple of years, you'll have mint everywhere for dehydrating and drying for tea. So mint is definitely one I recommend. Dill, it's boosting vitamin C, cell function development. Garlic, everyone puts garlic on something. Garlics help um, prevent common colds, improves blood pressure. It's good about uh, uh, against chronic disease. It's an antitoxin. Garlic grows in the ground. Garlic is good, 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 good. Just not good on your breath, but it's good. Fennel can grow 5, 6 foot tall. It's great for growing in cooler climates. Regulates blood pressure, digestive support, blood purifier, improves eyesight, cancer prevention, regulates body temperature. And if you use salt, don't use that regular white salt. Use pink Himalayan salt. It improves respiratory diseases and helps with aging and regulates sleep. So those are some of the key herbs. Now we are going to speak a little bit more now about the herbs that you really use in tea. There's so many types of teas, but a great tea that I like is the dark brown tea from Kenya. It's yum yum, and I really like that particular tea. Grow for barely nothing in your yard. We're going to show types of ways to grow tea, basically for free. No containers, no garden needed. So let's get hammering at it. Bee balm. The bugs like it. The bees love it. That's why I call it bee balm. It's a form of mint. It's a medical tea that has a very good smell, very similar to mint, but a little milder, and it helps battle colds, flu, and is very soothing to a sore throat. So if you're a sore throat, there's nothing better than a little bit of tea. And bee balm pretty much will grow in any climate above 40 degrees. It's a perennial or come back after year. Now this one is a really weird one because it's called catnip. Most animals love it. Cats love it. Catnip leaves and flowers can be brewed into a tea that relaxes you and reduces anxiety. Catnip tea tastes similar to mint. It has earthier and it has more of a citrus taste like orange and lemon and lime. I'm going to show you a picture of the beautiful flowers that catnip looks like. Now you can use the flowers, the stems, and the leaves of catnip. You dry it and it makes great tea. It's also a beautiful flower. And as I said, in a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can grow these herbs. Chamomile. Now, when you chamomile is a very pretty flower. It's a tea you drink close to going to bed. If you really want to sleep and having trouble sleeping, drink chamomile tea. It promotes sleep and isomania, and there's so much more, but it helps reduce anxiety, helps with an upset stomach. We all say dandelion's a weed. Those dang dandelions are just taking up the yard, but it's a pretty yellow flower, and the whole plant's edible. The whole plant's edible. Dandelions are not just ignoring weeds; they're actually a superfood. They're rich in potassium and vitamin A, C, and K, and dandelion tea is great for digestive problems. So grow dandelions, grow dandelions. The flower, the leaves are great. Coneflower. You know, Coneflower. Let me see. Do I have a picture of coneflower? Yes, I do have a picture of coneflower. It's a very pretty flower. Coneflower grows tall, 3 to 4 feet. It boosts your immunity, fights off colds, has a taste, a floral taste, and it's great if you pair it with some fresh honey or stevia, which we're going to talk about growing that in your own garden, which is a sugar substitute, so you don't have to buy sugar no more. So uh, these herbs can replace a lot of staples on your table. Hibiscus, it's a beautiful flowering plant, but be sure to choose the edible variety because not all hibiscus is edible. Get the edible variety. Go to a nursery that sells herbs, not plants and flowers, or has a section for that, and let them help you, or I can provide you some seeds. Most are ornamental, but hibiscus tea is very fruity, very rich in vitamins, helps lower blood pressure. Most of us have an issue with that occasionally, helps with digestion. Now, this is a really good one. We're talking about the Bible, the Holy Word. Holy basil. Holy basil. Holy basil. Wow. Is it holy? It is talked about in the Bible. It is a very good biblical herb. And excuse me for a second. Okay. Calcium and iron boosts immunity, helps with stress, and promotes overall health. It can be drunk as tea. It's also good in a lot of Italian dishes, dishes with tomatoes and tomato sauce and tomato puree, diced tomatoes, etc. Good in some salads. Uh, it's a great herb. There's many types of basil, but holy basil is really good in tea. Holy basil. This is one of my favorites. It sort of tastes like lemon. Lemon balm. Lemon balm is a citrusly, slightly mini taste for a delicious tea. It helps with stress, calm your mind, helps you sleep. Lemon balm. And when you make these teas, lemon balm pairs very well with mint. Any type of mint tea, lemon balm helps pair with that. It's really good with pairing with the mint. Um, it's also good in with cone flour and maybe a little bit with your chamomile tea. Mix a little bit with your dandelion tea, catnip. You know, experiment. Bee balm and mint and lemon balm. You can put some of them together for a great concoction. Um, but lemon balm is a great tea. And we've talked about many types of mint. Um, that's probably one of the most popular for green tea, and it's no wonder why. The flavor of mint tea is perfect for a hot drink on a cold day. Helps shore throats, improves sleep, and there are a ton of different mint varieties out there. I love chocolate mint. I love peppermint. I love pineapple mint. Here is a good example of pineapple mint. It's often called pineapple sage. It spreads like wildfire. Um, Pineapple sage makes a lovely tea because it has a sweet taste of pineapple and a flavor of sage. It's very good in antitoxins. It's a very sweet tea and you feel good when you drink it. So all your mint teas are just like a pure blessing to the body, pure blessing to grow. They're fun to grow. These herbs are fun to grow and watch grow. They're fun to dry, and it's fun to make tea and experiment with teas and drink them. And it's just a lot of fun. There's certain rose plants that you can use the rose petals and rose hips to make tea. Rose petal tea is full of vitamin C. Helps with women with menstrual plants. Has a lovely floral flavor, um, fruity flavor. It's great. Gives you zinc, calcium, and vitamin C. Rosemary. If you're growing herbs, everyone has to grow rosemary. If you're cooking pork, sometimes even beef, lamb, or almost any type of meat, rosemary, you can take rosemary sprigs, cut them off, trim them off, and infuse the meat with rosemary sprigs. You're in for a pure treat. Rosemary has a ton of health benefits, including boosting memory, mood, and it's a quite strong tasting tea. But if you mix it with mint or thyme, it helps mellow it out and it's not as strong. Stevia. Stevia leaves contain vitamin C, iron, potassium, zinc, and calcium. The leaves are very sweet. So if you take and you're drying or you're drinking your teas fresh, you pour hot water, of course, on the leaves and flowers. But if you're drying them so you can drink these teas 6 months, a year from now, stevia leaves are like sugar. You put them in your tea or coffee using them instead of honey or other sweeteners. It's much better for you than sugar. Now, you're going to ask, I don't have the money to have a garden. I can't afford all this garden stuff. You can take plastic containers. Look at this garden. Trash. Look at those. Those are plastic containers. You take the plastic containers, you cut out, the that area, you put the lid on it, you fill it with dirt, and you plant your seeds. This is chives or onion growing, and it can be used like in salads and all kinds of goodies. You can also make onion powder, etc., to put on your drinks, but foods that you cook. But look at that. Those are containers. We all throw them away. It's like a 1 liter or 2 liter bottle, and you can take and make those grow a whole herb plant, and you can get enough herb off of that one. If you planted two or three of one herb in 3 containers, you'd probably get enough of that herb to make you and your family tea for the whole season out of trash. You just need the seed. If you don't have a lot of space, one of the great ways, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this as well after I mention this, is using PVC pipe about 4 inches in diameter, and you drill some holes in it to put your plants. You drill holes in it to put your plant, and you can lay it flat on something. Or this is a 3 tier thing you can hang on a wall. So if you don't have a lot of space, look at the uh, herbs growing in that little space. It's not taking up any space. You can water it easy. So that's a great other way. Another great idea is using buckets, pails, or burlap bags, etc., to plant your herbs in. A lot of rice comes in like a burlap or heavy woven bag. If you would make this bag into a shape, fill it with some compost or dirt. Just don't use clay or just sand, and you fill it. That can be your one plant for a basket to plant one herb in. Now hydroponics is much like this last image. It's a bunch of PVC pipes that connect together, and they connect together, and one end of the pipe goes into a little tube that drains back into like a little pail or cat litter box or something like that. And the other end has a tube hooked to it with a very small little fountain pump that you put in the bucket or cat litter box that pumps water through the tube. Now um, you have no dirt in hydroponic growing. It's all done with water. So what I'm going to try to show you on this board is basically a good example of this would be you have your bucket and your pump is in your bucket with a tube, tube hooked to it, and you have your this is your bucket, and you have your pipe, three pipes, we'll say, and they have multiple holes for planting, you know, herbs. And this one's hooked to that one, and that one's hooked to that one. And then this one has a tube that goes back into here, and then this one pumps into here. So what happens is the pump pushes water up this tube and puts water into this pipe, and you have like a little sponge in each of these pipes. And in that sponge, you put a couple seeds. So you might be trying to plant some high pots here, and you might be trying to plant some sage here, some mint here, uh, some holy basil here, and things grow about 70% faster hydroponically than they do in dirt. Okay, they grow about 70% faster. Now, why is this? Well, all plants, trees, plants, and herbs require what? Water. Two, fertilizer. Now, you use a different type of fertilizer when you grow hydroponically. You use a water-based hydroponic fertilizer. They're not expensive. You get a bag to last you several years for $4 or $5. And then you use 5-10-5 vegetable or plant fertilizer for your all your herbs. And I would get a type of fertilizer that you mix with water. Then you mix it with the water, then you pour it on the plant. Try not to put any fertilizer onto leaves. Just try to pour it at the base of the plant. It's the roots and the plant that needs it. A lot of fertilizer will kill the leaves and make them dry up, thus killing your plant. So hydroponic growing is a very great way of growing plants very, very quickly. I have a hydroponic grow system that will take 120 uh, plants, or you can plant 120 different herbs or plants at one time. It's a three row. It's relatively big, about 4 feet by 2 feet, and about 4 feet tall. And I put it in a greenhouse in the spring when it can get nice and warm and get sun all day. And if you plant stuff in that, I've had stuff come up in 2 days where it would take 2 weeks in dirt. So hydroponic growing, and I can send footprints on how to make them. I can send you the information and email on how to make them. It's just awesome, 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 awesome. So if anyone wants information on how to make hydroponic growing system, uh, please message me. I would be blessed to help you there. I'd also be blessed to give you seeds. Let's wrap things up talking about where we're going tomorrow, which is continuing with love. I just want you to know love never stops being patient. Love never stops believing. Love never stops hoping and never gives up. If you are a follower of Christ, if you're in this Christian uh, thing in life, you must love everyone the same way that Christ loves you. That means you are to accept everyone the same as Jesus Christ. Accept them completely, love them unconditionally, forgive them always and totally, and consider them extremely valuable, whether you like them or not. Love never stops believing. Love expresses faith. Love allows you to say, even though we're having a rough time, I believe in you. I love you. You know, this Bible study on love, it came about because let me just tell you, this world needs love. This world needs love and not hate. It needs peace, not war. This world needs God, is what it needs. But everyone needs to love each other more and more every day. I forgot to show you a little picture of some herbs. That's just a little example of some dehydrated paprika, Stevia is in the white spoon toward the left, paprika toward the bottom, or that, also cayenne pepper toward the right top, some leaves. Um, Drying these things is really awesome. You can dry most herbs on a tray in the oven. You can hang them to dry like on a clothesline. You can put them on a bag and hang them. You can dry them in the oven, or you can get a dehydrator from like Amazon from like 20 or 30 US dollars. That would do a fantastic job. Everyone, have a blessed night, and please tune in tomorrow. We're going to continue our Bible study on love. I'm sort of disappointed we only had one person watch live today. Very few people seem to be watching my videos, and it's a big disappointment. But I know God has a plan, and maybe He's telling me I got to change the topics. I got to do something different. I got to not speak too so long. I got to speak longer. Whatever He's trying to tell me, I don't know yet. But I'm praying that this my channel will grow because I would much rather preach on this than a computer. It's so much easier. I can preach outside. I can preach anywhere. I don't need to drag a computer with me. Thus, making it much easier to preach the gospel. So, hopefully, that will be a big improvement shortly. God bless each and every one of you. Good night.